If you have a social gathering, well, especially if it's not two-way communicative, such as a lecture or a talk. If I just give lectures and don't really interact very much with my audience, or I lead a meditation, say, they're not bonded. If they finish, though, with a meal together, then they bond because they're in a situation of interaction and of satisfaction. They have needs, desires, you see. They have a need for fellowship in that sense. And if they have it, the bonding is secured. Well, of course, individuals may argue with each other over some point. I mean, that's unfortunate, but it has the opportunity for bonding, put it that way. It doesn't guarantee you'll have unity, but if there is a propensity for unity, it will have the opportunity to flourish and therefore bond. So we see classically, I suppose, in the mystery cults and majored also specifically in Christianity, that they have a meal together. The communion is meant to be a communion. If you do it in absolute reverent silence, and you do it symbolically with a drop of wine and a tiny crumb of wafer or something, you won't get the bonding. You have to be so incredibly spiritual, already bonded to God wonderfully, for it to be effective. Have a meal together. By all means do the bonding as well, symbolically, because rituals have a familiarity about them that sticks in the mind for a long time, you see. A habit, in fact. But have a meal together. Don't dismiss that as the trivial and some descent back into the world and the lusts of the flesh. No, you are a person in physical form, and the physical bonds well when its needs are met. So encourage such. Don't have an extravagant meal, but a nice meal, a good meal. And on your special days, have a special feast. I don't mean it's essential if you're already in love with each other and God. But if not, if you're kids, it makes a world of difference. Thank you, Dad. And I would think avoid the formal. If we're sitting in this expensive restaurant, you're stuck with the persons next to you and the one opposite, and the noise level can be such that even that is difficult. And you can't move around to choose the right company for each other, both from the point of view of those that you see who need company and those whom it's best to avoid because of, well, inharmony, quite honestly. So you choose to celebrate nicely, you see, relaxed, and don't make it some economic burden. You know, the restaurant is too expensive. It's not a good idea. Don't be competitive, but bring a plate. Not much more than you would eat normally yourself. And the sort of food that is right for you. It may be right for others too, and you'll be tender drawn to each other just by the food. It doesn't need to cost, you see. Just your normal food. Not something that stresses you because you had to spend something extra. No need. Just your normal food. And presented reasonably, of course. It's, you know, you want it to be appreciated and valued. But don't, take enough for 4 people. The equivalent of a meal for 4 people. You're just one. And everyone sort of should do their bit. There will be some apparent free riders. But sometimes it's because they are so hard up themselves. They don't live at that average standard of living that might appear in a communal meal. You see, you want to make it a blessing. You don't need to spend. Have it in whatever abode you live in, whatever house or whatever. Don't have too many. You don't have to, burst the walls with company. Just that which is comfortable and within your means, and a blessing. A relaxed, not stressed environment. It's not something that takes a great deal of formal preparation. Do you see? It's not a great cost, so it's something you can do normally. A normal interaction and friendliness and freedom is lovely to those who are of a good purpose. Be a blessing. It's the relationships that count. They are your treasure. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.